Meet Terry on the left and Teresa on the right. This is a mated pair of ravens that I've been watching for several years. This last year, in 2022, I was able to document them build a nest and raise a couple of chicks. This is where Terry and Teresa live. They have claimed about 5 acres in the Verdugo Mountains, which includes a park, a pond, and several trees. My first hint that they were building a nest came in early February when I saw Teresa carrying sticks and other nesting materials. Shortly after, Terry began feeding Teresa on a regular basis. Now they were both gathering nesting materials, including this burlap, which I assume they used to line the nest. At first I didn't know where the nest was, but in early April I saw Terry fly to it for the first time. And it was clear that there was a nest in this tree and that Teresa was in it. Terry would find food, wet it down, and bring it to the nest about every 30 minutes. Finally, at the very end of April, I see activity in the nest, a chick stretching and flapping its wings. The second week of May, the chicks start to come out of the nest. In the third week of May, the babies have fledged and will never return to the nest again. Even though I didn't know it at the time, I would eventually name this young female Lita. When I get close to them, Teresa gets angry and she lets out a warning call. I move away immediately so as not to upset her. The parents are somehow able to keep track of the babies, even though they're moving around from branch to branch, and they find them and feed them on a regular basis. The babies spend their time playing and exploring this big new world they've just been introduced to. Near the end of May, they take their first flight, and it's not very far, only about 5 feet. May 28th, the babies finally leave the local clump of trees near the nest and wander out to do more exploring. The parents are leaving them alone almost all the time, but they watch them closely from a distance. The babies continue to explore and play, sometimes picking on each other just like human siblings do. At the beginning of June, the parents are still bringing the babies food on a regular basis. The parents are also giving flight lessons. Showing the babies how to maneuver and showing them the boundaries of their territory. Every night at sunset, Terry and Teresa wrangle the babies into a tree that I call Sleeping Tree. They sleep here every night for a couple of months. Although Terry and Teresa prefer spending time alone, the babies never leave their side now. Judging by their sounds and other attributes, I determine that these babies are a male and a female. I name the female Lita. She's very vocal when she wants her parents' attention. Up until now, the babies have spent their lives in trees or on the Green Tower, but they are about to be introduced to the ground. This will prove to be the most dangerous time in their lives. Ravens must come to the ground to forage for food, but it makes them vulnerable to predators like coyotes and rattlesnakes. Near the end of June, an unfortunate tragedy takes place. Lita's brother, who we see here, disappears for good. I'm not sure exactly what happened to him, but he disappeared shortly after the babies were first introduced to the ground, which is the most dangerous place for them. This is a sad development, but it's just part of nature. The loss of her brother will make the next couple of months hard for Lita. Lita is now alone with her parents. She continues to explore and play by herself. On the last day of June, an important event in Lita's life takes place. The parents introduce her to other raven babies. They fly around together for hours. This is an important development because Lita will someday need to leave her parents and join a group of ravens her own age. Lita continues to learn valuable survival skills. She watches intently as her father forages for food, learning from his every move. She spends a lot of time alone, but doesn't seem to mind it. At this point, her parents are still feeding her, but that's about to come to an end. Spending more time alone, she makes noises to practice her vocal capabilities. She spends more time alone, entertaining herself, and practices her new skill, hiding food, this time way up at the top of a tree. Her nights are lonely, as her parents no longer sleep with her. They're getting her used to being out on her own. At the end of July, Lita is getting much bigger. She's able to find her own food now, and doesn't rely much on her parents. Here she gets sleepy and takes a nap. Here Lita is on the right. Terry is on the left. She still hangs out with her parents occasionally, this time looking for food that they hid earlier. Her patience finally pays off, as she found something she hid recently. She continues to explore her surroundings, looking for anything that's edible. Some things work, some don't. We pass through the month of July, where Lita spends most of her time alone. She is still living in her parents' territory, but that's about to come to an end. For the last month, Lita's parents have been chasing her out of their territory, but allowing her to come back in for 3 or 4 days at a time before chasing her out again. That's about to change for good. Raven parents allow juveniles to stay for a while until they finally kick them out, so they can join a group of ravens their own age, while the parents prepare for another birthing season. She comes back in the next day, lands in their territory, and it doesn't last long. Again, one of her parents chases her completely out of their territory. This is the last footage I got of Lita. She finally flies out of their territory, never to return. But this is natural and normal, and this is what she's supposed to do. I can tell that she's incredibly smart and very resourceful, and she will have no problem surviving into adulthood. Thanks for watching this video. Currently, I'm in the process of producing a feature-length documentary about my interaction with these ravens over the course of a year. I will give updates on this channel as they come available. That's it for this one. Stay tuned for the next one.